Hi everybody, welcome back to WildCare. Happy Monday. We are starting today with this little guy. Orphaned baby squirrel, of course. Melanie, you want to tell us something about him?
So we have quite a few baby squirrels in care right now. And this time of year, people are trimming trees without checking sometimes, and they fall. Let's see.
We might have to wrap him up. He's
a little
nervous. Yes, exactly. So we'll just do that. There we go.
But this little guy actually fell in the windstorm that we had. And we tried to do a reunite, which a lot of times works. Mama squirrels are really good moms, and they will come back for their babies if they can. So we set this guy up in a box at the base of the tree with a heating disc and left him for the day. And for whatever reason, Mom did not come back for him. And we also noticed that with the bloody nose, he was not really having such a good time. And he does not want to eat. Normally he eats great, but of course he's camera shy right now.
Well, why don't we can be quiet for a second.
Yeah, let's see if he'll calm down.
We won't have any commentary.
Nope, let's try his friend.
Let's try his friend.
They're also to the age right now where they're starting to eat solids. So if you can see in there, we call it nut dust.
Oh yeah.
So all those pieces and then all the nibbles taken out of there.
So he's not really very hungry for formula, right?
He might have just filled himself up and not wanted some formula.
Well, nuts are very filling, as we know.
Yes.
We're here with our Director of Animal Care, Melanie Piazza. We also have a very special treat. We have Lucy Stevenot, our bird room manager, who has a baby jackrabbit as well. So let's meet this little fellow. And he ate well this morning, but he's also clearly a little bit nervous here in this open space with the camera on it. Let's see if we can get him going here. This little guy has a stripy belly. There's a question from Lisa, if we're still accepting applications from volunteers. Lisa, we're not for this year. We do an orientation and training once a year in usually late January or February, and for the Wildlife Hospital. So we are not going to be currently looking for new Wildlife Hospital volunteers till then. But depending on the situation, we may be looking for new nature guide volunteers, which are our wonderful nature education volunteers that take groups of school children on hikes, and that orientation is usually in August. It's going to depend, of course, on what's happening with COVID-19, and everything depends on whether we're going to have that training. But keep an eye on our Facebook page and also on our website, and we'll have updates on that. But if you're interested in the Wildlife Hospital and caring for little guys like this baby squirrel that fell from his nest, then next January, February will be the next orientation opportunity for that.
So this guy's doing a lot better. Obviously, he's doing better when he can't see us, which is good because we want to keep all our kids wild. And these two are not related. They came from two different locations. One of the ways that we keep our babies wild and not imprinting on humans is we never raise them alone.
Yeah.
So we always put them together with conspecifics so that they know that they're squirrels and not people. And so these two are put together. His entire nest was cut down, this one, and unfortunately the siblings didn't make it, and we were not able to put those guys back. So,
yeah, that happens so often. Those.
So he's full. He's been eating a lot too. He actually spit out some nuts. I don't know if you saw that to take his syringe.
Do we see the stripy belly? Oh, there's the stripy belly.
So he's got nice little unique markings with the dark chin and stuff.
What a beautiful little guy.
So we're going to let these guys go back in somewhere quiet, and maybe Lucy's rabbit will be better behaved than my squirrels.
Yes, that's the thing about a Facebook Live. You just never know what you're going to get. These have been in foster care, and I know they eat pretty well their very first morning feed. Get a quick look at our avocado, apple, and nut dust array here. So yes, they clearly have been enjoying. Whenever you're ready, Lucy.
Trade places.
All right. So everyone knows our messaging. If it's tree work that is an emergency, of course do it with a very, very, very careful check for nests. But if it's tree work or gardening work, yard work of any variety that's not an emergency, then we ask you please, please, please to delay it. People think they're going to see nests and they don't. It is so hard to see a baby's nest, an animal's nest, even if you're really looking for it, and especially if you're not. Oh my goodness.
Yesterday, this little rabbit came in and was a lot sleepier and quieter, but today a lot more active. So this baby was found somewhere on a 40-acre ranch, and she came to us actually with milk in her belly, and so we knew Mom was taking care of her, but we were actually unable to figure out where she was found. Somebody had given it to the person who drove it to us.
That's so heartbreaking. So basically this little jackrabbit was kidnapped.
Mm-hmm. She was kidnapped.
You know, that's something that happens. There are most of the time, if you find a baby animal all by himself on the ground, most of the time that baby animal needs care. There's only 2 species in our area that specifically end up being kidnapped. If they're alone on the ground, that means that they're healthy, and those 2 species are the jackrabbits, like this little guy, and the fawns, the baby deer. And we get kidnapped deer and jackrabbits into the wildlife hospital. The primary defense mechanism for these species is for mom to leave her babies alone and unattended, and the baby's primary defense mechanism is to just sit still and quiet and not move. And so
it can be up to 12 hours
at a time. Mom will leave them up to 12 hours at a time. So with a jackrabbit or a fawn, if the baby is sitting still and quiet and not moving, that's actually a baby that is healthy and mom's nearby, and you don't want to kidnap him. Now, if it's a baby squirrel sitting on the ground, that's an animal that needs care. If it's a baby bird sitting on the ground, that's an animal that needs care. It's the jackrabbits and the deer that have that one specific mechanism of leaving their babies alone for hours at a time as a way to protect them and defend them. So it gets very confusing. What we really ask people to do is, if you find a baby animal of any species, call WildCare. Give our hotline a call, 415-456-7283. And our hotline operators are experts. They can walk you through what that animal's situation is and what the best thing is for that animal's care. And, we have WildCare treats as many as 200 different species of wildlife. So there are a lot of varieties of different animals out there, and they all have their different needs.
And one thing we always tell folks is, when you do find injured or orphaned wildlife, keep them dark and quiet, and do not feed them. I know it looks like milk in these syringes, but it is not milk. Cow's milk will kill little tiny babies because it's formulated for a big 1,300-pound animal. So we have different milk replacers for every species that meets their specific needs. So just keeping them warm, dark, and quiet until you can get them to a licensed wildlife hospital is the best thing to do for them.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've done too.
He's nibbling a little bit.
It takes them a while to get used to the formula too, because it doesn't taste like mom's milk.
Yeah.
And so when they're really healthy when they first come in and not dehydrated, it usually takes a couple of days to get them used to it.
Yeah, that tastes funny.
Yeah. And that's why I'm feeding her more frequently than I might, because she doesn't always take as much as she should to each feed too.
And she came in when, Lucy?
Yesterday.
Oh my goodness. So same thing. Once Lucy gets her stabilized and eating, we'll make sure she's with another baby jackrabbit, so she grows up with a member of her own species. And of course the goal with all of these animals is we'll raise them and they'll be wild, and we'll release them back to their habitat, and they'll get a second chance at being out in the wild. It's such an amazing thing that WildCare does. So we're going to put this little beauty back into her little enclosure here. There we go. Probably want to cover her up. Lucy, thank you so much. You take such amazing care of our birds and our jackrabbits, and Melanie takes such great care of our baby squirrels and everybody else. Thank you so much for joining us today. We will be back. We'll just show you the bird room while I talk. We will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Pacific time. And I'm not sure what we're doing tomorrow. We'll have to figure out what we're doing tomorrow. It's so fun. And visit us online at discoverwildcare.org. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow. Thank you, Lenore. You're awesome.